In April 2020, a company launched with $1.75 billion in funding. They had Steven Spielberg, they had Jennifer Lopez, they had every major Hollywood studio as an investor. They had 175 shows ready to go. 6 months later, they were dead. And here's the kicker. They weren't killed by bad luck. They were killed by being completely, staggeringly, almost impressively wrong about everything. This is the story of Quibi. And if you've never heard of it, that's exactly the problem. Two of the most successful executives in American business, Jeffrey Katzenberg, the guy who saved Disney Animation, and Meg Whitman, the former CEO of eBay and HP, raised more money than most countries' GDP to launch a streaming service. They spent $470 million on marketing alone. They sold out $150 million in advertising before they even launched. They had content from basically every A-list celebrity you can name. And at the end, they sold their entire content library for less than $100 million. The whole thing. 75 shows, billions of dollars in production costs, sold for the price of a mediocre house in Los Angeles. Here's what makes this story fascinating. This wasn't a scrappy startup that ran out of runway. This wasn't a founder who didn't know what they were doing. This was two titans of industry, armed with unlimited resources, making decisions so fundamentally wrong that business schools now teach Quibi as a case study in how to fail spectacularly. In the next 50 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how they did it, how they misread their audience, how they ignored every warning sign, how they built something nobody wanted and then acted shocked when nobody wanted it. This is a masterclass in hubris. This is what happens when you have so much money and so much confidence that you forget to ask the most important question in business. Does anybody actually want this? Spoiler alert, they didn't. Let's talk about how you burn $1.75 billion in 6 months. The Dream Team. Let's start with Jeffrey Katzenberg, because you need to understand who this guy is to understand how this happened. In the 1980s and early 90s, Katzenberg was chairman of Walt Disney Studios. Under his leadership, Disney had its animation renaissance: The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King. These weren't just hits, these were cultural phenomena that defined a generation. Then he left Disney in a very messy, very public split with CEO Michael Eisner and co-founded DreamWorks Animation with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen. DreamWorks gave us Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon. The guy knew how to make hits. In 2016, DreamWorks Animation sold to Comcast for $3.8 billion. Katzenberg personally made hundreds of millions of dollars. Enter Meg Whitman, CEO of eBay from 1998 to 2008, during which the company's revenue grew from $5.7 million to $8 billion. She took it public. She made it synonymous with online auctions. Then she became CEO of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise from 2011 to 2018. Controversial tenure, sure, but she ran one of the biggest tech companies in the world. These are not amateurs. When these two teamed up in August 2018 to create a company called New TV, later renamed Quibi, the pitch was simple. We're going to create a new form of storytelling for mobile devices. Quick bites of premium content. Hollywood quality designed for your phone. The intersection of Silicon Valley and Hollywood. Here was the vision. Episodes would be 10 minutes or less, delivered in chapters like a book. You could watch a 2-hour movie broken into 12 10-minute segments. Designed specifically for mobile phones. Targeted at millennials, 25 to 35, who had in-between moments. Commuting, waiting in line, lunch breaks. Subscription model. $4.99 a month with ads, $7.99 a month without. And here was their killer feature. Turnstyle. You could rotate your phone between portrait and landscape mode, and the video would seamlessly switch between two different versions filmed simultaneously. Because, the problem with Netflix was you couldn't watch it in portrait mode. The money. In 2018, before they'd even built the app, they raised $1 billion from Disney, NBC Universal, Comcast, Warner Media, AT&T, Sony Pictures, Viacom CBS, 21st Century Fox, MGM, Lionsgate, Alibaba Group, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase. Basically, every major media company on Earth threw money at this. Then, after launch in 2020, they raised another $750 million. Total $1.75 billion. Let me put that in perspective. When Netflix launched its streaming service in 2007, they spent $800 million on content for the entire first year. Quibi raised more than twice that before they even launched. Disney Plus spent an estimated $1 billion on content in year one. Quibi spent the same amount and had a grand total of 0 shows anyone had ever heard of. Where did the $1.75 billion go? $1 billion on content, 175 shows, 8,500 episodes, $470 million on marketing, the rest on technology, salaries, and overhead. $1 billion on content. That's an average of $5.7 million per show. Some lighthouse projects cost up to $6 million per hour of content produced, about $100,000 per minute. To put that in context, the average YouTube video costs basically nothing. TikTok videos are free. Even high-end YouTube productions cost maybe $50,000 per episode. Quibi was spending $100,000 per minute. Surely that money bought them something incredible, right? Yeah, we'll get to that. The content. Katzenberg and Whitman spent 18 months lining up content before launch. They promised 175 shows in the first year, and the names attached were genuinely impressive. Directors: Steven Spielberg, After Dark, a horror anthology that could only be watched at night. Guillermo del Toro, Sam Raimi, Catherine Hardwicke, Antoine Fuqua. Stars: Jennifer Lopez, Chrissy Teigen, Chance the Rapper, Liam Hemsworth, Anna Kendrick, Sophie Turner, Reese Witherspoon, Idris Elba, Kevin Hart, Zac Efron, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Kendall and Kris Jenner. This was not low-budget, no-name garbage. This was Hollywood talent making premium content. The shows had real budgets. #FreeRaySean, starring Lawrence Fishburne, was a 2.5-hour movie broken into chapters. It told a serious story about a Black Iraq war veteran framed by police. It was well-reviewed. Survive, starring Sophie Turner, was a psychological thriller. Most Dangerous Game with Liam Hemsworth was an action series. Reno 911 came back for a Quibi revival. On paper, this should have worked. But here's the thing Katzenberg and Whitman didn't realize. Nobody cared. The launch. April 6th, 2020. Quibi launches in the United States and Canada. This is where things start going wrong. Remember, they spent $470 million on marketing. They bought Super Bowl ads. They were all over TV, billboards, social media. Everyone in America knew Quibi was launching. Day 1, 300,000 downloads. The app hit number 3 in the App Store. Not bad, right? Week 1, 1.7 million downloads. By week 2, Quibi had fallen out of the top 50 most downloaded apps. By early May, 1 month after launch, the app was ranked 125th in the App Store. They'd spent $470 million on marketing, and after 1 month, they were less popular than... Let me check the actual rankings. Gardenscapes, a match-3 mobile game about renovating a garden. But wait, downloads don't tell the whole story. Lots of people download apps and never use them. What about active users? According to Quibi's own numbers in mid-May, 3.5 million downloads, 1.3 million active users. That's a 37% active user rate. Not great, but not terrible. But here's the problem. All of those users were on a 90-day free trial. Nobody was paying yet. In June, Katzenberg gave an interview to the New York Times. He was asked about the numbers. Katzenberg: is it the avalanche of people that we wanted and were going for out of launch? The answer is no. It's not up to what we wanted. It's not close to what we wanted. Not close to what we wanted. That's CEO speak for we're in trouble. Behind the scenes, it was worse. According to reports, Quibi had projected 7.4 million subscribers by the end of year one, April 2021. By June 2020, 2 months in, internal projections showed they'd hit less than 2 million paying subscribers by April 2021. They were going to miss their target by 5.4 million subscribers. That's 73% short of their goal. And remember, they'd spent $1.75 billion. At $5 to $8 per month per subscriber, hitting 2 million subscribers would generate maybe $120 to $190 million in annual revenue. They needed to pay back $1.75 billion. Math is hard when you're burning money. So what went wrong? If you have this much money, this much talent, this much hype, why did it fail so fast? Let's break it down.
Failure number 1. They misunderstood their audience. Quibi's entire pitch was built on a hypothesis. Millennials want premium short-form video content designed for mobile phones to watch during in-between moments like commuting. Let's examine each part of that hypothesis. Part 1. Millennials want short-form video. Actually, yes, this part was correct. TikTok proved that. YouTube Shorts proved that. Instagram Reels proved that. But here's the thing. The short-form video people actually want is free and user-generated. TikTok in 2020 had over 800 million active users globally. The content was made by regular people with iPhones. It cost nothing to watch. YouTube had 2 billion monthly active users, also free. Quibi wanted to charge $5 to $8 per month for professional short-form content. But nobody asked for professional short-form content. The whole appeal of TikTok is that it feels authentic, spontaneous, real. When you make it Hollywood quality, you lose the thing people actually like about short-form video. Part 2. Designed for mobile phones. Okay, so here's where it gets truly baffling. Quibi was mobile only. You could only watch it on your phone. No TV, no computer, just your phone. And not only that, when it launched, you couldn't cast it to your TV. No AirPlay, no Chromecast, nothing. You know what people do when they want to watch premium video content? They watch it on the biggest screen available. Studies show that even millennials, Quibi's target demographic, consume most of their video content on TV screens, not phones. Mobile is secondary viewing, usually for YouTube, TikTok, or scrolling social media. According to Nielsen in 2020, 27% of video viewing happened on connected TVs, 25% on traditional TV, 26% on computers or laptops, 22% on smartphones. Quibi built an entire service around the smallest share of viewing. Part 3. During in-between moments like commuting. Okay, so here's where it gets really baffling. Quibi launched on April 6th, 2020. You know what was happening in April 2020? Global pandemic lockdown. Nobody was commuting. Nobody was waiting in line at Starbucks. Nobody was riding the subway. Everyone was at home. at home where they have TVs. TVs that Quibi didn't work on. Now, to be fair to Katzenberg and Whitman, they couldn't have predicted COVID-19. The decision to launch on April 6th was made in January-February before the pandemic hit the US. But here's the thing. They refused to admit it was a problem. Katzenberg, New York Times interview, May 2020, "I attribute everything that has gone wrong to coronavirus. Everything. Everything. COVID's fault. Except, no." During the pandemic, Netflix subscribers surged. Disney Plus hit 60.5 million paying subscribers in its first 9 months, launched November 2019. HBO Max launched in May 2020 and hit 4.1 million paying subscribers by July. Peacock launched and hit 15 million subscribers by September. TikTok exploded to over 1 billion monthly active users. People were watching more video during the pandemic, not less. The difference, all those other services worked on TVs. Quibi didn't. Failure number 5. They made it impossible to share. Here's something that seems small, but was actually catastrophic. When Quibi launched, you couldn't take screenshots. You couldn't screen record. You couldn't share clips on social media. Think about that for a second. In 2020, when TikTok was exploding because of shareability, when memes drive culture, when word of mouth happens on Twitter and Instagram, Quibi deliberately blocked users from sharing anything. Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, the biggest YouTuber in the world, explained it perfectly in a 30-second clip. The fact that you can't screenshot or screen record shows they don't understand their target audience. Most young people enjoy engaging with content through memes and sharing. Quibi blocking that is insane. Think about how shows go viral now. Someone shares a funny clip on Twitter, it gets 2 million views. People want to watch the show. A moment becomes a meme, spreads across Instagram, drives viewers to the platform. Fans create TikToks discussing the show, generates organic marketing. Quibi blocked all of that. They eventually added sharing in late May, 6 weeks after launch. But by then, the damage was done. Nobody was talking about Quibi shows because there was no way to talk about Quibi shows. Google Trends data showed that Quibi had a brief spike at launch, then fell off a cliff. None of their shows, not a single one, trended on social media. The most popular show on Quibi, according to analytics firm Apptopia, was Reno 911, a revival of a Comedy Central show from 2003. Nothing says the future of entertainment like a 17-year-old comedy reboot.
Failure number 3, the content was fine. Let's talk about the actual shows because this is important. The content on Quibi wasn't terrible. Reviews were mixed to positive. The production quality was high. The celebrity talent was real. But none of it was must-watch. When Disney Plus launched, The Mandalorian became a cultural phenomenon. Baby Yoda memes were everywhere. People signed up specifically to watch that show. When HBO Max launched, it had Friends and The Big Bang Theory and the entire HBO back catalog. People signed up for shows they already loved. When Netflix started, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, shows that people talked about at work, referenced in conversation, recommended to friends. What did Quibi have? Most Dangerous Game. Liam Hemsworth runs from people trying to kill him. Reviewed as fine. Survive. Sophie Turner and another person tried to survive a plane crash. Reviewed as okay. Free Ray Sean. Actually well reviewed, but nobody watched it. Chrissy's Court. Chrissy Teigen judges small claims disputes. Exactly as silly as it sounds. Punked. Revival of the Ashton Kutcher prank show from 2003. None of these shows generated buzz. None became memes. None had breakout moments. And here's the structural problem. They couldn't. A 10-minute episode doesn't have enough time to build tension, create characters you care about, and deliver a satisfying payoff. It's too short for a complete story and too long for a quick bite. TV episodes are usually 22 minutes for sitcoms or 44 minutes for dramas, for a reason. That's the length that allows for proper dramatic structure. Setup, rising action, climax, resolution. Quibi's format was like taking a feature film and randomly chopping it into 10-minute chunks. The chapters didn't have beginnings, middles, and ends. They were just segments. A whole is that which has a beginning, middle, and end. Aristotle, Poetics, 335 BC. Quibi forgot a 2,400-year-old lesson in storytelling. That's a 92% drop-off rate. Only 8% of free trial users converted to paying subscribers. Disney Plus had an 11% conversion rate, and Disney Plus started with 9.5 million users in its first 3 days, versus Quibi's 910,000. If Quibi maintained that 8% conversion rate on its total 5.6 million downloads, they'd end up with about 450,000 paying subscribers. At $5 to $8 a month, that's $27 to $43 million in annual revenue. They'd spent $1.75 billion. You'd need to run this service for 40 to 65 years just to break even. By June, the cracks were showing. June 2020, Megan Imbries, head of brand and content marketing, quits 2 weeks after launch. Advertisers start pulling back commitments due to low viewership. Reports surface of internal conflict between Katzenberg and Whitman. The Wall Street Journal reported, Katzenberg and Whitman are not seeing eye to eye. Katzenberg wants to spend more on marketing. Whitman wants to cut costs. In June, Quibi finally added AirPlay support, iPhone casting to TV, 2 months too late. In July, they added Chromecast, Android casting to TV, still too late. In August, they tried launching a free ad-supported version in Australia and New Zealand. Desperation move. Internal projections showed they'd hit 2 million subscribers by April 2021, missing their goal by 5.4 million. By September, reports said they had about $200 million in cash left, having burned through $1.5 billion in 18 months. September 2020, Wall Street Journal reports Quibi is exploring a sale. Potential buyers mentioned Facebook, NBC Universal, and Apple. None of them wanted it. October 2020, in a last-ditch effort, Quibi launches apps for Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV. They finally admitted people want to watch on TVs, 6 months after launch. Better late than never, right? Wrong. It was too late. The shutdown. October 21st, the Wall Street Journal breaks the story, Quibi is shutting down. Later that day, Katzenberg and Whitman confirm it in an open letter to investors and employees. It is with an incredibly heavy heart that today we are announcing that we are winding down the business and looking to sell its content and technology assets. Quibi is not succeeding, likely for one of 2 reasons: because the idea itself wasn't strong enough to justify a standalone streaming service, or because of our timing. Unfortunately, we will never know, but we suspect it's been a combination of the 2. We will never know. You raised $1.75 billion. You had access to the best market research money could buy. You could have tested this concept in beta. You could have surveyed audiences. But sure, we'll never know. At the time of shutdown, Quibi had approximately 500,000 subscribers. They hit 6.7% of their first-year goal. In an exclusive interview with Deadline on October 2020, Katzenberg and Whitman explained their decision. Katzenberg, there was no question that keeping us going was not going to have a different outcome. It was just going to spend a whole lot more money without any value to show for it. At least they understood the math. Whitman, we could see it really clearly after all the experimentation and pivots that we did over the summer. It was the right thing to do. The hard right versus the easy wrong, she called it. Admirable, I guess, that they pulled the plug instead of burning through another $1 billion, but let's be clear. The hard right would have been not launching in the first place. The liquidation. December 1st, 2020. The Quibi app shuts down completely. Users can no longer log in or access content. All 75 shows, 8,500 episodes, gone from existence. If you were in the middle of a series, too bad. It's over. January 2021. Roku buys Quibi's entire content library. Purchase price? Less than $100 million. Let me repeat that.
Quibi spent $1 billion producing content. Roku bought all of it for less than $100 million. That's a 90% loss on content value in less than 1 year. The shows were rebranded as Roku Originals and made available on the Roku channel, a free ad-supported streaming platform. The content Quibi insisted had to be paid, premium, mobile-only entertainment, now free, on TV, for anyone with a Roku device. Quibi reportedly returned $350 million to investors out of the remaining cash on hand. So, let's do the final accounting. Raised, $1.75 billion. Returned to investors, $350 million. Content sold for, less than $100 million. Total recovered, about $450 million. Total lost, about $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion evaporated in 6 months. The lawsuits. Oh, and one more thing. Throughout this entire debacle, Quibi was being sued by a company called Echo, which claimed Quibi's Turnstyle feature, the portrait landscape switching, infringed on their patented technology. Echo alleged that Quibi met with Echo in 2017 to see their interactive video technology. Then, Quibi hired Echo's former employees. Quibi launched with a feature suspiciously similar to Echo's patented tech. Echo sought $100 million in damages. Quibi denied everything and countersued. The case was still ongoing when Quibi shut down. It was settled confidentially in 2021, after the shutdown. So not only did they burn $1.75 billion on a failed product, they also allegedly stole the one innovative feature they had. Impressive. So, what can we learn from this billion-dollar disaster? Lesson number 1. Money doesn't buy product-market fit. WhatsApp was acquired by Facebook for $19 billion. It was built by 2 guys with $250,000 in funding. Instagram was acquired for $1 billion, built with $500,000 in seed funding. Quibi had $1.75 billion and failed in 6 months. Money can't fix a bad idea. All the celebrity talent, all the marketing spend, all the premium production, none of it matters if the core product doesn't solve a real problem or fulfill a real desire. Lesson number 2. Listen to your users. From day 1, users complained. Why can't I watch this on my TV? Why can't I share clips? Why does each episode feel incomplete? Why would I pay for this when YouTube is free? Quibi heard all of this, and they ignored it for months. They finally added TV support in October, 6 months after launch, right before they shut down. Hubris kills companies. Katzenberg and Whitman were so confident in their vision that they dismissed criticism as people not getting it. Turns out, people got it just fine. They got that it was bad. Lesson number 3. Test before you scale. Basic startup methodology. Build a minimum viable product, test with a small audience, iterate based on feedback, scale once you've proven product market fit. Quibi did the opposite. Raise $1.75 billion, spend $1 billion on content before launch, spend $470 million on marketing, launch at massive scale, and discover nobody wants it. Disney Plus launched with a $6.99 per month price point and a beta test in the Netherlands before going global. They tested demand. Quibi launched at full scale with no testing and charged more than Disney Plus. Lesson number 4. Respect your competition. Quibi positioned itself as different from YouTube, TikTok, Netflix, etc., but to consumers, it was all video entertainment competing for the same screen time. Katzenberg repeatedly said, "We're not competing with Netflix. It's a completely different use case." Wrong. You're competing for the same dollars in the same entertainment budget during the same hours of the day. When people have $10 a month to spend on entertainment, they choose between Netflix, $9,
Disney Plus, $7, Spotify, $10, YouTube Premium, $12, Quibi, $8. You're competing with all of them. Lesson number 5, know your audience. Quibi's target? Millennials, age 25 to 35, who watch video on phones during in-between moments. Reality? Millennials aged 25 to 35 in 2020 were dealing with a pandemic, were working from home, had their biggest screen time at home on TVs, were already subscribed to 3 to 4 streaming services, and had zero desire to pay for phone-only video. Katzenberg and Whitman built an entire company based on assumptions they never validated. Lesson number 6. Big names don't guarantee success. Quibi had Jeffrey Katzenberg, Disney, DreamWorks legend, Meg Whitman, eBay, HP CEO, Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Lopez, Kevin Hart, LeBron James. None of it mattered. Celebrity investors and celebrity talent can't save a fundamentally flawed product. Success requires solving a real problem for real people.
Let's bring it all together. Quibi raised $1.75 billion. They spent $1 billion on content. They spent $470 million on marketing. They had Steven Spielberg, Jennifer Lopez, every major Hollywood studio as an investor. And 6 months later, they were dead. August 2018, founded. October 2018, raised $1 billion. April 2020, launched. October 2020, shut down. 26 months from founding to death. This is a story about hubris, about 2 incredibly successful people who believed their vision so completely that they ignored every warning sign. TikTok proved people want free short-form video. Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max proved people want to watch premium content on TVs. YouTube proved you can't charge for content people get free elsewhere. Basic user research would have shown the concept was flawed. They ignored all of it. In his final interview, Katzenberg said, "We will never know if it was the idea or the timing." Yes, we know. It was the idea. The timing didn't help. Launching during a pandemic when nobody was commuting was bad luck. But the fundamental concept was flawed from the start. Even in a post-pandemic world where people are commuting again, Quibi wouldn't have worked because people don't want to pay for short-form video, people don't want mobile-only streaming, people don't want to be unable to share content. The format doesn't work for storytelling. The numbers don't lie. Goal, 7.4 million subscribers in year 1. Reality, 500,000 subscribers. Conversion rate, 8% of free trial users. Content value loss, 90%, $1 billion to $100 million. Total loss, $1.3 billion. This matters because it's a cautionary tale for the entire tech and entertainment industry. You can't buy success. You can't brute force product market fit with celebrity talent and marketing dollars. You have to build something people actually want. Quibi will be studied in business schools for decades as a masterclass in failure. Not because Katzenberg and Whitman were incompetent. They're not. They're wildly successful in other contexts. But they were wrong, spectacularly, expensively wrong. And in business, being wrong with $1.75 billion costs $1.75 billion. Or in Quibi's case, $1.3 billion, since they got $450 million back. Small mercies. Quibi, how $1.75 billion bought absolutely nothing. April 2020, October 2020, RIP.